Isabelle? Oui? Ça marche pas? Faut que j'appuie quelque part?
Ah, oh.
Tu m'entends? Oui, c'est bon.
Celui-là aussi?
Ouais, salut. C'est bon?
1, 2.
On attend le go de la chef. C'est bon? Ouais? Ok. Bonjour.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, whether you are here in the room or listening to us remotely. This presentation will be in French originally. It will be broadcasted in French and English replay, but since we have a majority of French employees, we're going to make this presentation in French. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. We wish you a very good year. Wish all your relatives and families a great year, and hope that 2025 will be better than last year. Today, we are going to focus on 2024 and see what happened. It was a year of performances. We're going to have a look at our challenges for 2025, and then we will have a Q&A session right after the conclusion. Don't hesitate to write your questions to us during the live event. But before anything else, we have many newcomers this year, so let me come back to the positioning of our BU. Our core business is based on energy transition. It's one of the three pillars of Equans, digital, industrial, and energy transition, and we focus on energy transition on all the businesses you can see here at the top of this graph, energy. So we focus on renewable energies and PV arrays and distribution and transformation of energy. Also OVHL, high voltage OVHL, substations, solar farms, infrastructure, and grid. And as you know, for the last couple of years, we've launched new businesses, battery storage, which is very important when it comes to renewable energies. And we will hear about this from Eric, who will give us a few updates. There have been many changes in this respect. And also services. We have a few infrastructures that need to be upgraded, retrofitted, and we want our services to focus on that. We operate in 8 countries, and Christophe will give more details on that. And currently we have about 600 employees now that 200 newcomers arrived last year. Now, in terms of organizational chart, we don't have any major changes except from the fact that Benoît Froiduro just joined, and he will present himself very shortly. He is in charge of innovation, new solutions regarding the availability of our real estate and our obligations in terms of environment. So he'll take the floor shortly. You know the rest of the team. They are here with me on stage today, and they'll take the floor one after the other. Now let's come back to 2024. As we said, without employees, we are nothing. So let's start with quality, security, and then we'll move on to HR. Ines. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In 2024, we have had no serious accident, which is great news. We improved our rate of accidents with lost time, and we improved the WIG employee and temporary worker accident rate. We have had a few accidents, but not serious. This great performance is the work of all the people who are behind me and myself. Would like to thank you for this. For 2025, we have the same goal. We want to keep the same performance. We want to reduce accident rate as much as possible so that everyone can go home safely after work. So we'll keep working on our projects, working on safety as upstream as possible while complying with our standards. So let's keep an eye on what is going on and make sure everyone stays safe. In terms of health and safety, we have a video that you can see right now. Thank
Donc un super film.
That's a wonderful film that shows us all the great achievements that are finalized or that are still ongoing. But we now want to show you a few of our commercial successes and achievements for 2024. It's only a selection, of course, but what we selected represents the alignment we have with our strategy. So let's start with our solar and storage project signed by our France and Europe teams. Altarea is a commercial and industrial project which corresponds to the beginning of the achievement of our strategy consisting in putting park canopies on different sites, and we have a great portfolio here. We hope it's going to open up new prospects on this very buoyant market in France and maybe in other countries in Europe. The second important project is CVE. For those of you who've been around, you know that it was called the Calvaire Énergie. Now it's a different name. It's a big portfolio of 73 megawatts. And we want here to enlarge our client scope. Very often we rely on major clients, but we want to look for others. And here we've had the possibility to have an important portfolio that was entrusted to us by our client. And we have a client who really wanted us to support him on innovation and upstream of the innovation projects, so that we are closer to our clients and fully part of the project. Then we have Gourembat Solar Farm. It's a big project with a new client. We have ENGIE in Australia. It's really the first time we have such a big solar project and working together with ENGIE. In Australia, we need to have major projects who come in one after the other. It seems easy like this, but it's part of the challenge because we cannot work on all of them together or simultaneously. It's very complicated otherwise to organize for Christophe, but we've had perfect timing and we hope we have new projects this year. We hope we stay on time and keep a strong and consistent business in Australia. We also have historic teams and clients with KMK. We have a client in Thailand with different teams, but a small portfolio that makes it possible for us to keep our business in Thailand, which is a country very dear to our heart. Then UK. As you know, we work together with Equans UK teams for solar and storage businesses, and BESS also. So this is a client, RW, that is important for us. Our clients are very much attached to what we do, to our services. We also have hybrid projects, solar and BSS ready, so the capacity to add up batteries to the project in the future. We're already doing this with some clients in Great Britain, and it's an important business for us in a country that, once again, it's important for us. Then we have a couple battery projects. As you know, in solar and storage, we have a solar activity and a storage activity. We started from scratch almost in terms of storage. It's not easy to start from scratch. We signed a few projects in England. We signed a project in the Netherlands also for ENGIE. It's an ongoing project. And we also signed at the last minute a project for NON, which is a historic client. We work in partnership with Huawei, not fully EPC, but we went through many different stages and managed to win over the project wonderfully. And I'd like to hand over to Arnaud now. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you. TND now. Annually, we have about 100 orders placed, so of course we can't talk about all of them. Let's focus on Germany first with Ritterhausen, 380 kV, 18 million euros. This year was quite calm, but next year we're going to have a lot of business. No, for France, after 3 years of the same volume, we managed to renegotiate a contract with an appendix for the next 2 years for 36 million euros on over 2 years. Now another framework contract, a record contract of 135 million euros with Deep Foundation. And RTE really placed its trust in us, and we showed them that we can perform quite well, and we're amongst the first on this market. And lastly, a contract that was won at the beginning of 2024, the Flandre contract. It's a record contract once again. It's a flagship project that really is in line with the strategy of the group. It's a 400 kV project with many industries in the north of France and the goal of decarbonating the industry. Now I'd like to hand over to Isabelle, who's going to give you a few figures for 24 and the prospects for 25. We are going to give you a few figures, not too many, just to show you how 2024 went. You don't have the figures 2023 here, but in 2024 we have 495 million euros of orders, great order taking that sets our minds at ease for 2025. We are quite close to 500 million, quite a landmark. And we would have reached that with BBB's order. Xavier mentioned it with Huawei, but we signed it at the end of December, so it's not part of the 2024 accounts, but it will be part of the 2025 ones. 2025 looks very good also with Villars-Pendot, which will enter eventually. BBB, we mentioned it, and a few orders also that were forecasted for the end of the year on PV France, and they will be part of the 2025 accounts. So regarding PC, we have green lights only, and we can be positive for 25 because we already have a lot of our 2025 business in our portfolio. For 24 now, 416 million in terms of business. It's higher than expected because of important orders in Australia. This really boosted our business. Same thing for England, which generated a lot of business. thanks to our British colleagues. 416 million needs to be compared with 184 million in 23. So this is quite an important rise between 23 and 24. It's huge. And we had to really face this increase in turnover and hire many people, induct them into the company. And we did all this thanks to you. And I'd like to extend my thanks to you. It's quite a feat to have done this. We managed to really double our turnover from one year to the next while managing risk, having control over it. And the results are there. Beyond our expectations, we had a 3.13% expected ROCA, but it's 4% actually in reality. 16.5 million euro of ROCA is incredible for performance. Thank you to all of you for that. Now let's turn to 2025 when the performance is positive. Of course, expectations keep rising and the bar is higher and higher. So in 2025, we will have a more moderate growth than 24, probably easier to reach, but we know we have major projects that are not yet finalized, so we can always bump into problems, and we should not rest on our laurels. And we have to keep focused on the achievement of our projects for 2025. We have to renew our activities also in Australia and in Northern Europe. The idea is to have a continuity in our business and teams. 431 million orders this year. We aim at doing better. That's the plan. 472 euros of turnover. That's reachable, even though it's quite ambitious. And we already have a few projects in our portfolio, as we said, and plus 4 to 4.5% in ROCA. So we're within the trend, and we'll try to do better if we can. As I said earlier, we have 200 newcomers to train and to welcome. So it's quite a challenge. We also have risky businesses. And I'd like to thank you all for the work you're doing here. We have 12 major projects that were launched in 2024. So staffed projects with teams that are really working on the front line. And we have what we call the medium-term plan that is updated every year in October. It's a 4-year plan. It was presented to Jérôme Stubler in October, and we aim at having a continued growth. As you can see, there was quite a gap between 23 and 24. Now the coming years should be years of recent growth. We are going to keep operating on our regular segments, and then we have the battery segment and that we are going to keep developing. And we're going to increase our PV businesses in Germany and Italy. So if you combine both, it should trigger about 700 million euro in turnover by 2028. And that is reachable. We are on market that have strong growth, so there's no reason why we cannot do this, but we need to plan and to mobilize everyone to reach these ambitious goals. And we are very present in the field of energy transition. It's a buoyant market. So for Bouygues and Equans, we have many eyes that are turned towards us, and that helps give more value to our shares. and there are many expectations. So we need to keep developing our activities and go towards energy transition. For 2025, we already had a look at the prospects and a few figures, but as we saw, figures without people aren't anything. And we're now going to hear Antoine talk about the roadmap in terms of HR.
It's great when you work for HR to take the floor in such a dynamic business unit. A business unit where you can carry out a lot of actions, a lot of initiatives, and this is what we did with the teams. We've tried to support you as best as we could. We can always do better. I'm sure that there are some BU managers who are going to throw new challenges at us for 2025. But we are going to congratulate ourselves for everything that we've done, that we did in 2024. As Elizabeth said, we recruited a lot of people in 2024, and it is therefore a pleasure for me to talk to these new employees, to wish them welcome in this great journey, this great endeavor, and I hope that they'll have a lot of fun. For the recruitment process to run as smoothly as possible, we have a lot of onboarding processes. 200 employees to integrate out of 700. When you add people from abroad, means that we have a big wave of new arrivals. So the TND teams, with Arnaud and Anne-Sophie's actions, launched a high-quality integration process to raise to these challenges. We are going to duplicate this in the whole BU because the DNA of our BU is to find all good idea and spread it. We have new employees who are joining us, a permanent contract, short-term contract, but the group is also investing massively to integrate our future young employees. It's a lot of work for the teams, especially for the tutors, but it is an important pool of talents for the group, and we will continue to invest in that. We have close to 60 young people who are going to work part-time or as apprentices within our teams. We need to go even further. We need to be even more visible. As you know, Equans is a very young brand, and therefore it's important for us to be more visible. To be more visible, we need everybody to take part. There is the ambassador program, but it's not going to be the only lever that we'll need to activate to get to be more known and to attract new talent. So we will ask you to work on this employer brand and to showcase the pride that we feel when we work in this great business unit. Then, once we've onboarded people, integrated them, we'll need to develop them. So we are offering a dream, an opportunity. As you've seen, this year, we are going to continue. There is this challenge, this development, and it is an opportunity to give responsibilities to employees who've shown that they were dedicated, that they had the willingness to move forward, and that they were talented. So we're going to talk about promotions. I know that the whole HR function, all the employees, all the managers are going to look at, the bonuses, etc. So we are going to, give more responsibilities. And as I said, it's very important to us. It is our role. It is part of our DNA within the HR team. We like to promote mobilities within the group. It is important for the BU. It is important for the whole Bouygues group. Mobility between product line, geographic mobilities to support our development. And obviously we will continue to train our resources with the foundation based set up by Equans. There are mandatory programs and different development programs, and we're also going to focus on the specificities of our business units. And then we will take care of our employees by highlighting some things that are part of our DNA as well. Energy workers, I would like to congratulate them. They received an award during the competition. It is really part of our group's DNA. They are part of our group's DNA, and we're going to proudly support the energy workers and develop them within our BU. Then, caring for our employees is also caring for them in France and abroad by implementing the ByCare program. It is the universal social coverage program, and we're also going to think about our CSR. We need to be an ever more inclusive company. We are going to work on that. We need to be inclusive in, all senses of the term. So we're going to work on gender diversity. We're not at 50-50 around the table, but we're working on it. So some people might be replaced by other people. Well, just hoping for my colleagues. Right, thank you very much for your attention. So we want to go even further. So once all of these employees have been onboarded, we need to work on their performance, and I'm going to give the floor to David, who's going to talk about the performance. Thank you, Antoine. Antoine just talked about how difficult it can be to recruit people. 200 people is a lot, and it's also important to take care of them. So regarding the perform plan, so we take that into account. In the job sites, we look at working positions for our employees or our subcontractors. So it is our duty to help them and to improve their working conditions. It is a way to care for our teams. It is also a way, on top of that, to work faster and therefore work more during the year. In 2024, we tested different automation solutions for PV farms, and we planted a few seeds. Some seeds that are now growing, and this year we have two major projects. Number one, Benoit is helping us. It is about designing our own structure to find solutions in order to make it easier to set up those structures, so for PV farms, so fixed structure. And the second solution is based on a mini truck. It's a vehicle designed by a company from Lyon. This solution is going to make it easier to work in height when we once again build PV farms. It's not really about this, but with the energy workers, we went to visit a Louellec job site. And we saw how they could work on an inverter. And I'm sure that people who saw it remember now what installing an inverter is like. So in 2025, we need to move forward and make it easier for our workers to work and work faster, always with full safety and quality. So this is my commitment. We will work better with inverters. And beyond that, we've worked on continuous improvement. We had some RECs. We also heard what the challenges were in the field, and we set up a tool that is going to help us better leverage the feedback that comes from the job sites. It is an IT tool called Baizen. Baizen, so B from Bouygues, and Zen from Kaizen, which is a continuous improvement in Japanese. Thanks to this tool, we can give some feedback, bring the information from the field, and then we can look whether the information is important, and if it is, so we can do an in-depth analysis, analyze the root causes, and improve our improvement plans, or action plans rather. So these are the three programs we are going to work on in 2025, and we talked about automation, so it's about automating and innovating, and to talk about innovation, I'm giving the floor to Benoit.
Merci David.
Thank you, David. Innovation indeed. I joined the group 6 months ago. It's an honor. And, I experienced the old age of the PV industry in the year 2000. Since then, the business has changed a lot. Back in the days, we used to work on fixed structures with centralized inverters, 500 kilowatts. Now we have blocks that goes up to 4 megawatts per inverter, even 9 for blocks, and we do floating. We also have some 1-axle, 2-axle, 3-axle trackers. No, just two. We also have the CPV, concentrated power photovoltaic, it didn't work, it was too complicated. So the industry organized itself, and we're always looking for new installations, new structures, and we also have to face the upcoming massive rollout. So we need to look at what can be done in the field. So we need some real estate. So a lot of developers are looking for real estate, some lands. This is what I'm showing here. With CVE, we worked with Amaury, Amélie and Julien for the Marseille harbour. We are asked to see how we could implement some PV farms in wet areas. So it's not floating PV, really. We're talking about an area, land that can be dry, that can be wet. We're talking about a land with underground water. It can be saline air environment. So we have to think about floatability, etc., because the area can be flooded. No one talked about crocodiles yet, but right, this is something that we are looking at, and we are going to look at it this year as well. A carport is also something that is well known. We work on them, but a carport on its own, well, doesn't exist. It's always in an artificial environment with energy or assets. It can be a parking lot, a supermarket, etc. So we always have an interface with electric vehicles. So we have to think about how we can position the carports, how we can implement them within their environment. So you have to think about the energy aspect. It goes beyond our businesses, but it is still an important consideration. And then you also have to think about the revenue aspects for our clients. Another topic, I investigated a lot on it this year. Sunways, Switzerland. They won an innovation award in May by Equans, and so they want to install PV panels on rail tracks. So it is a complicated solution. It's difficult to implement. It's difficult to remove them for maintenance, and there are some regulations relating to the railway networks. That means that it's difficult, and we stop this relationship. However, we can see that there are linear PV projects, either alongside rail tracks, rivers or roads. This technology might not develop right away because there are other areas to cover first, but continuous current means that it's going to be used in the next few years. And then another request that we got for Marseille Harbour again, it's still about railway. I don't know if it's going to actually happen. They asked, could you put this on top of our sorting stations? So very high structures, so you have to think about catenaries or overhead lines, but this is just a few examples to show you that we have a lot of clients looking for solutions to integrate PV in many different forms, in many different areas. I forgot to talk about I forgot the segue, but I believe that to do all of this, we need some material. We need to buy a few things, right? Who's buying? Who's in charge of procurement? It's Victoria, who now has the floor. Absolutely, Benoit. Without our suppliers, without our subcontractors, our projects would be nothing. So in 2024, the strong growth of the energy BU enabled us to achieve 238 million euros of procurement, which is twice as much as what we did in 2023. We also generated 8.5 million euros of revenue in our various projects, and we also got back 780,000 euros of discounts. About 430 framework contracts exist at Equans. As you know, the procurement department at Equans is quite unique because we work with project buyers. We have a manager category within the French BU, and we also have portal buyers within Bouygues Construction. All the buyers work together every day to make sure that our BU remains competitive. In 2025, we are going to continue working on the performance of our procurement with a plan Procure to Perform. The main idea is to develop a new framework contract and new discounts that will be redistributed to the various BU's businesses. We also want these contracts to be complied with, and we want to concentrate our volume of procurement in these with these buyers. The second avenue will be about digitization. Well, it is going to play a key role this year in the modernization of all our procurement processes. We are going to roll out a new tool called Coupa. You already use Coupa. Coupa replaced Pablo. Thanks to this tool, we'll be able to implement our whole procurement strategy, all our procurement strategies. It will also be a way to consolidate the data collection and reporting. The third pillar will be about CSR procurement. So there are a lot of expectations. We have made some commitments at group level. We worked on a CSR chart for the procurement department. The objective is to make sure that we are going to assess the CSR performance of our various suppliers. We also want to work on the selection and the use of those suppliers who made a commitment to reduce their CO2 emissions. We talked about that for the T&D business. So, for example, we're using low carbon concrete. We're using different equipment that are low energy, and we use low carbon energy for forklifts or other equipment. So we also need to properly qualify our suppliers using the EcoVadis platform and with SGS audits that are done by an external partner. Fourth pillar, the supplier relationship management. We worked on developing new partnerships with key companies for our strategic commodities, for example, solar and storage, but also subcontracting for T&D. So that's an important pillar. We need to work on the identification and the development of relationship with new businesses, BESS, for example, and T&D services. This is something that is going to be particularly important in developing our businesses, because without our subcontractors or subcontractors or suppliers, we can't do anything. And I'm going to give the floor to an expert in the solar industry. Thank you, Victoria. PV France Europe. During the last live event, I said that 2023 had been a transition year. And I was quite optimistic for the future. 1 year later, I can tell you that 2024 was a fantastic year. More than 50 job sites, 50 projects in the country. We commissioned more than 300 peak megawatts in France, thanks to the 160 employees based in Montpellier and across the country. Employees that I would like to thank for this achievement. 2024 was a consolidation year. Consolidation of our performance first. Consolidation of the management team as well. That is built on the foundation made up of employees who have experienced several years at the PV Montpellier entity, and we also recruited a few additional people. Jean-Christophe Depas, for example, in charge of operations, and Stéphanie Bayeul, who is in charge of O&M. Consolidation of the results as well, the turnover. Great financial result in 2024, overperformed in terms of safety, for example, and we overperformed financially. The ROCA for France standing at close to 6%. A consolidation as well of our capacity to make competitive offers and technically complex offers that are attractive for our clients. We set up a technical department with Amaury Chauffour, and we also continue to strengthen or enrich our expertise for the electricity, high voltage, modules, structure, etc. Lastly, in 2024, we innovated a lot. Again, we innovated on PPEs, safety equipment to improve the working conditions without sacrificing safety. We also innovated in new segments, new business segments, CNI, for example, but also retrofitting. We are now able to improve the engineering and the design of existing power plants. We also continued to innovate by improving the workers' areas, by putting PV panels on them, for example. We're also innovating for the floating PV by detecting under the water, thanks to a remote control boat with a LiDAR technology that helps us improve or address the foundation issues that we can have. And first in France, you might have seen Hishooks. Hishooks is a plant that was hit by a storm, and it's been fully rehabilitated, fully renovated. It's the first time we completely dismantle a plant by keeping only what can be kept, and then rebuilding it. So the rebuilding phase is ongoing. Germany, Italy, it is even more a transition year. There is a paradigm shift. We've tried to develop these geographies by leveraging the teams from Montpellier and local partners. We adapted our strategy. We are now convinced that what we need is a local, dedicated team in order to successfully develop these countries. So this is the reason why we set up a team in Munich, and we are recruiting a team in Milan as well, hand in hand with Vita Sidalin. And we now have a better understanding of these markets. And about in Italy, we have some clients who are waiting for us, who are contacting us, reaching out and waiting for us to reply. 2025 for France. 2025 is going to be a year of capitalization. So we're going to capitalize on our good results, and we're also going to diversify. We did what we know how to do best. Now, when we look at our turnover, when we look at the results, we think that we can start working on agri-PV. It is about men and women who want to move forward. I believe that to be successful, we need this collective energy. This is very important to me. Obviously, our employees need to go home safely. Zero serious incident is important, so we want efficient and shared processes. So we are going to increase our flow business, and we're going to develop CNI and agri-PV, and co-development with some entities of the group who have some lands. As for Germany and Italy, 2025 is going to be the year of recognition of 2 years of efforts, commercial efforts. We have ambitious objectives in terms of order intake and business, but very practically speaking, in Germany, the objective that we set ourselves was to sign one major contract with a developer, and in Italy, we want to confirm contracts with Neoem and Photosol, French developers who work on projects in Italy. I'm now going to give the floor to Christophe, who is going to make us dream with more exotic geographies.
Merci Pierre. Alors
Thank you, Pierre. I'll start with the highlights of 2024 for PV International. 2024 for PV International was a key year for two reasons. First, we had robust financial performance. I'm not going to talk about the details, but I wanted to highlight two things. First, we are very fortunate. We have a project portfolio that is healthy, high quality. Thank you to the commercial teams. Thank you for transferring those great projects to us without any major budgetary issues. And I also want to highlight the work of the teams who are passionate, dedicated. They work every day with our clients to deliver this performance. So thank you to all my teams working around the world on those projects. A key reference here for another reason. The type of projects, usually world premieres, remarkable. I'm going to highlight some of them. You can see them on the slide on the right-hand side. Let's start with the Dominican Republic with Monte Plata 2, which is a solar farm that we commissioned in 2024. It is our first project in a new country with a new partner, and therefore, since it's a first project, it's never easy, and our teams really worked day in, day out for this project to be successful and to achieve exceptional performance. Well, more than two-digit margin for this project, and more importantly, it was a flagship project in the Dominican Republic to continue our story. It paved the way to new projects, including the Cotoperi project. We implemented the last module just before Christmas 2024. This project is remarkable because of the challenges. Cotoperi was one of the most complicated projects that we have in our portfolio today. It is complicated for several reasons. First, we work with Acciona, a client. Acciona is known around the world for being a challenging, demanding client. It's difficult to work with them, but nonetheless, we managed to make them happy. Then, the location of the project is challenging. We are in the middle of sugarcane fields. It takes 40 minutes to reach the site, and the site is challenging. Big in terms of geotechnics, 90% of the site is hard soil, and it is not flat. Lots of hills, which leads to some technical challenges in terms of the design of the PV farm. Lastly, in 2024, we saw the safety or the security. Actually, security was a challenge. A few theft incidents in 2024. There were some theft people who were armed, who didn't hesitate to shoot. So the teams was united. Fortunately, we didn't have any unfortunate events. Cotopery, because of all these reasons, is a challenging project, but we have a really dedicated team. So Acciona is very happy with our performance. And once again, it is a demanding client, so congratulations to the team. So we're now on track to complete the project in April. Let's then go to Europe, starting with Sweden, with Hultsfred 40 megawatt farm, 100 megawatts peak. Monte Plata was 40 megawatts. Hultsfred is a unique project in terms of geography. We are building a solar farm around an airport. There were a few initial challenges in terms of security. Some planes were landing, and so we were working next to the landing strip. So in terms of safety, it was a little bit challenging. We also worked on a co-activity plan with Neoen to overcome this challenge. And Hultsfred is known for its hard rock festival. Metallica performed there. Unfortunately, if you go to Hultsfred, you won't be able to meet with Metallica because this festival no longer exists. But in June, you will see a beautiful PV farm. Let's then go to the UK. In the UK, so first hybrid project. What do we mean by hybrid? It's a solar project with energy storage batteries. First project with two legacy clients from the group, Low Carbon and RWE. In the UK, it's interesting because they are small projects, but they mushroom here and there. So if you go to the British countryside, I'm sure you'll see a solar farm. You'll probably see one of ours. And if you get closer to the solar farm, you'll see that they are extremely well designed, extremely well optimized, thanks to our engineering teams in France. I tend to say that that England was built by English people based on a French design. We'll wrap up with Australia. In Australia, we have major projects. Culcairn, world first in terms of size with NG and also with a few partners, more than 300 million euros. They are big in size and therefore under scrutiny. We can't have any financial impact on those projects because the financial consequences would be huge. So we're very, very careful. In 2025, we are going to closely monitor those projects. No worries, no concerns. All the indicators are in green. Everything is running smoothly. I also wanted to highlight the size of those projects. Culcairn, for example, 1,300 football pitches. So that's a technical challenge in terms of productivity, for example. And this is key in Australia. I'm not mentioning it on the slide, but I just wanted to say a few words about Japan. As Isabelle said, our teams in Japan are launching the Equus portfolio, and we hope that 2025 will be the year for Koriyama, and in a few months, we'll have some good news and finally complete this project. It is a complicated project. Well, I shouldn't even talk about it. So, well, basically, we hope that it's going to be the end of the tunnel for Koriyama in 2025. Now, let's talk about 2025. In terms of performance, we are really in line with 2024. The management team set the bar high in terms of result. We should have a turnover standing at 250 or potentially more in 2025, with a margin standing at about 6%. We are ahead in terms of our strategic plan because 6% was for 2026, but we have enough portfolio, enough staff to achieve 6% in 2025. So we're quite confident that we'll be able to achieve all of this in 2025 for the BU. 2025 is about stabilization, standardization, and collaboration. Stabilization because we are a BU that grew a lot over the past 3 years with the recruitment of new employees. We went, just to give you an idea of the exponential growth, in 2023 we had about, well, in 2022, 4 million turnover, 2023, 44, 2024, 260, close to 260 million. So you see the exponential growth of our business. So obviously we needed to recruit, and now we need to stabilize in order to continue developing our business.
Then the two-tier standardization. The first level includes a certain number of processes, quality management, and management of our data, so as to be much more proactive, and we're going to work on this in 2025. David and Benoit mentioned it. In terms of productivity, it is a real challenge that we have for solar farms. We have less and less qualified labor, and our projects are increasingly complicated and bigger, so we need to find solutions to improve productivity. That could be through robotization and industrialization. We launched a workshop in 24 that really launched the projects to lay the basis of these solutions, which we want to roll out in our projects for the future. And lastly, collaboration at several levels. First, at commercial level, we have great references in 23-24, which helped us get an important portfolio. We need to keep working on this and get more orders. The engineering teams working on Corso Tenders need to keep working on our story and writing new chapters. I'm looking at Christelle for Finland, for instance, and why not the North American market in 25? And we are collaborating with other members of BU teams. Arnaud, for instance, helping us a lot in the Dominican Republic, where we are having some issues. So thank you very much, Arnaud, for your support. And Yasser, who is here in this room, working on automation, everything related to control, command, PPC, and also grid connection, which is a critical part of our projects. And we use the work done by our teams. So thank you very much, Yasser, for your work here. And lastly, our solar projects will take on a new turn with a paradigm shift, a new model based on battery storage, because it's meaningful. And I'd like to actually hand over to Eric, who's going to tell you more about this battery storage field. Thank you. Hello, everyone. And I will speak in French, of course. I'd like to present the second phase of BESS, acceleration. It's a very important phase. We will focus on four fields: operations, commercial, partnerships, and expertise. We have 12 projects. The UK, the Netherlands, and France are working on these projects. And the partnership development model is really important. We focus on engineering. In terms of commercial aspects, growth is important. We went from 20,024 to an expectation to sign 43 million euros, and in 2026 and 2027 the project should be executed in the execution phase. and we are aiming at a sustainable growth to sign 74 million euros in 2026. Third important branch we're working on is a partnership with our major clients, LCRWE, ENGIE, Neoen are the most important ones in our portfolio. We are collaborating also with Equans UK and the Netherlands, and working also with strategic best suppliers and partners. We have 6 that are shortlisted. Now, turning to expertise, we started in 2023 with 4 colleagues, then 16 colleagues in 24, and we're expecting to have around 24 people in our team by end of 2025. We have an added value proposition also with our own PPC. That's very important. And work on our power plant for BESS. And we have an ongoing standardization process. REX and our loading plan is really important. As a conclusion, we are ready. I'd like to hand over to Arnaud.
Bravo Eric.
For T&D, let's be blunt, 2024 was an exceptional year. All the different businesses performed in the past. There was always a nailing business, but this year everyone performed really well. All of our businesses. Our business in general went up by 12% compared with 2023. We have a 3.5 margin now, so plus. Well, that increased, and our staff also increased by 24% with 109 new colleagues who joined us. So congrats to Anne-Sophie. So 2024 was exceptional, but we hope it will be less exceptional than 2025. Our business is going to go up by a third with a trend around 107 million euros. Now, these are not random figures. 90% of our backlog is ready, signed already. So the trend is realistic. We're going to have plus 1.1% in terms of growth, so that will set us around 4.6%, and 90 new colleagues who will join our teams. So we have nice prospects for 2025, and this trend is going to keep going until at least 2027. We are on a booming market. We want to accompany this increasing trend, and growth is going to double in a very short time. With a growth of 80% over 3 years, over 4 years, we performed quite well. And as we said earlier, we have markets to renew. The first one is quite a big challenge because it's going to give us work for the 5 to 8 years to come. And we have to focus on the 3 new markets that we have. We have to keep growing also on the REB market and industry, focusing mainly on added value projects. We're going to digest the renovation projects we launched, Petrolineos, amongst others. And we need to digest it all and focus more on new markets and on high added value markets also. Of course, Yasser will have a great role to play here. And we have TDS also. 2024 is a year of consolidation. We have more staff. 2025 will be the year of project launches. So thanks to the whole BU support. 2024 was a great year, and we're on track. So I think we have a beautiful team and great prospects. The German market is still growing. We'll try to get more business with Transnet, and all this will only be possible if we are good in terms of safety and quality. So we're aiming at the MAS quality label and the safety culture ladder label also. And we have a bit of time to do this. Some of our competitors have to do it in a year, so good luck to them. But we've been working on this for several years on safety culture, shared vigilance. And in terms of quality, we have to have a high-level quality culture. We are on a growth market, and we don't have the teams to do twice the work, so we need to have high-quality work done. All this is only possible if we have staff. That's why we are hiring a lot. We're going to keep training our staff. It's working well. We took about 100 people on board last year. About 20 people come in every month, 10 new people. They go through an induction course. They are trained so that on the job site they already have a lot of knowledge. So we need to welcome them. We need to take them on board and retain the staff also. This is why we have the TND Academy in project. And as I always say, in 2-3 years from now, there'll be more people than today. Today's staff only represents 40% of what we'll have tomorrow, and we need to train all these people. And I'd like to extend my thanks to all of the teams, commercial teams, those working on the studies, PSS, management, procurement, fleet, HR. Thank you very much to all of you. Nothing is possible without you. And I'd like to hand over now to Elizabeth for the conclusion. I don't have any slides. Well, I'll try to say it in simple terms. We've had an extremely performant year. We created some expectations. We need this performance to be long-lasting now. We need to keep improving, growing, improving our performance. And for this, we need stability, we need sustainability, and that is what expected of us in 2027 and in the years to come after that. So we cannot have too many ups and downs. We have to keep growing a bit more year after year. And the bar is set high already. So for 2027, we have to focus on 3 important things. Health and safety, as we saw, is important. We have many newcomers. We are working in high-risk areas, very painful and repetitive work outside with very high voltage power lines. So the main challenge here is to have control over the safety and the health of our staff on any job site. So we have many actions to set up for that. Robotization, we talked about it, industrialization. We are going to also improve our health and safety criteria. We have to work on methods, on all the workers involved on site. So it's something that really concerns everyone. It's not only Ines's job, it's our job. And we're all responsible for it. So we need to be able to support and train our staff so that all the newcomers are trained on our new methods. Everyone needs to be in a position to work safely as experts. And this is also what is expected from us by our clients. So that's the first challenge for 2025. Second challenge, operational performance. We have a big project portfolio already signed or ongoing. We are securing new projects for the years to come. And we are entrusted with more projects because our clients consider that we bring added value thanks to our operational performance, the way we work, our methods, our professionalism. This is something our clients are counting on, and they want us to help them in other countries because they know that we'll be up to the task in terms of performance, quality, health and safety. They know that we will deliver those projects professionally. So operational performance and being able to say what we're going to do and do what we said we were going to do is key. This is what will help our success be sustainable in the years to come. We have to keep working with our old historic clients, but also develop on new segments with new ones. This is really important. We have a series of complicated projects we need to deliver in 25 and beginning of 26. We'll have to put all our energy into this. And lastly, third challenge, and sorry, going back to the second one in operational performance, this requires the collaboration of all of our subcontractors, suppliers. We need to have partnerships with them so that they come on board. They help us with our challenges when problems arise. So it's not only the operational teams who need to focus on this, the whole organization. So we have a nice growth curve ahead of us. So we know how to control risk. We are developing new solutions. We have new segments. We are developing the battery segment, which is not yet well known. We need to have more expertise, more skills in these fields. So the commercial teams are here to make sure that we can build our portfolio in a selective way so that we see in the long run, and the framework markets are really important in terms of this work. But same thing for Germany. We have a portfolio that goes beyond 25, 26, 27, same thing for solar panels. We now have huge teams that are working in Australia, the Dominican Republic, in Sweden, and very shortly in Finland. So these teams are operational, they're very strong, they are performing very well, taking up great challenges. They go to a new country with a new client and they manage to succeed in one shot. It's something incredible. So we need to help them in all the countries where they are working. And we have major projects. Projects are by nature cyclical. So we need to keep fueling these teams with projects in line with our risk profile so that they can safely and soundly work on projects. And this commercial strategy is key. Thanks to this, we'll We'll keep growing on EPC projects, and everyone's looking at us, so whether it be Bouygues SA or Equans. And we need to really master and control risks and the way we work, and we always have to be compliant also and meet our clients' expectations. Sorry, I was a bit long, but health and safety, operational performance, and we need to keep building our commercial portfolio while respecting selectivity, risk management, so as to roll out our teams and our businesses in line with our strategic plan. That's the plan. So high expectations from our management, from everyone. I think we can do it, of course, and we already showed this in 2024. In 25, well, we have another step to climb, but we will succeed if we focus. Thank you to all of you for being here, committed, involved in your job, and I wish you a very great year and look forward to seeing you again. Have a good day. We received a few questions, not too many. I'll read them out, and I'll give the floor to those who can answer these questions. The first question, what about our integration within Equans? Where do we stand there, and what are the spending prospects? Well, our integration within Equans is now finalized. Our positioning is clear now. We are well grounded. The 2024 results helped us ground ourselves, and that's not challenged at all. Etienne Jacquelin and Jérôme Stubler, at the highest level, are extremely surprised and satisfied by what we did. We also managed to create a new brand, Equans Solar and Storage for Equans, and this gives visibility to the brand. It's now a well-known brand. There was a lot of buzz around it. It's the most well-known brand today amongst all the brands that were created in Equans. So I think that in 2 years, we managed to show that we are capable to do a lot. And we know how to stick to our commitments. Initially, the discussion was a bit difficult around T&D because we have competitors in Germany, in France. They're part of Equans France. Now, today, same thing. We committed last year to our T&D performance, and we stick to that commitment. So we are not called into question at all. Our purpose is clear. We are competing on all the framework markets with our competitors. We set up Chinese walls and a whole procedure that was presented to our clients. So we are clearly well-grounded. Our positioning is clear. We performed, and we'll have to keep performing. Now, of course, it is always possible to have a reorganization within Equans. I don't think that Jérôme Stubler aims at reorganizing anything before 2026, or at least not much. He really wants everyone to focus on the roadmap so as to reach the performances that were communicated to the markets for 2026. But Stefan Ston, our boss, as you know, is leaving, and it's a wonderful opportunity that he has. Stefan cannot turn his back on this opportunity, and we're really happy for him because Stefan is the ideal person to take on this new job working with Olivier Roussat. Stefan has a financial background. He was trained in finance operations. He is very familiar with the big projects. He knows the Equans projects, and he's in the best position to talk to the markets and explain how complex our strategy is, financial strategy. I mean, so that's really great news for Bouygues, for Stéphane, of course. And we'll stick to our plan that was presented to Jérôme. He approved it, accepted it. So whatever happens, we will have a new boss. But that's life. And overall, I'm very happy to see that Bouygues knows how to promote people like Stéphane, who can move on to higher positions, and Stéphane can have a very positive impact for Bouygues. It's in the interest of the company. So we'll know more in the days to come. We have a steering committee, management committee with Stéphane on Friday. Jérôme will take the floor. I don't know what announcements will be made. I can't tell you anything else for now, but I'm not worried at all. A new boss is not going to change our strategy and our plan. So let's focus on our business, let's keep performing, and everything will be fine.
One last question, to dream a little bit. Let's give the floor to Xavier. What are our future countries to conquer, and how are we going to deal with it? Well, this is a question that we get every year. What are the next countries for us? Well, Elizabeth, if this question was to know what are the results of Equans, etc., well, just look at the replay for Jérôme's presentation. There's not much, but it just says that Equans is fully embedded in the announced plan. So great satisfaction for people who saw Jérôme for the Happy New Year ceremony at Challenger. It's always great satisfaction, and the announcements were good. As for our future countries, some have already been mentioned, as you might already know. With Sweden, the idea was to say we are positioning ourselves in the Nordics. We shouldn't call them that, really, because when you talk to a Swede, they say, well, it's... And you tell them about Finland, they say, well, it's... Like for you, I'm in France, I'm going to work in Greece or Spain as well. It's the same thing. No, it's not the same. So we are focusing on Finland. Destia, subsidiary from Colas. So it's always good to work with our cousins. It's not always easy, but at least we have a good trust between ourselves. So we want to position ourselves in the country as the early movers. So we want to be one of the first large EPC contractors able to execute large solar projects in Finland. We did it in Sweden, with the largest project in Sweden, and we hope doing the same in Finland. And we have a team who is dedicated to that. We work with a local company, with Colas, who knows how to deal with overhead lines, etc. They know the market, and we add the engineering and production expertise. Other destinations that have been mentioned by Pierre, you know them. It's difficult for us to add countries to our portfolio, but Germany, Italy, we hope that will be there very soon. In Europe, we're looking at other countries. Denmark, regularly with Christelle, we look at them. We are, invited there, so to speak. So we might do something to focus there on that. That's it for Europe. The big issue, the big source of motivation, but it is really complicated, is North America. We made a few experiments in Canada with some offers. We were close, but no cigars. Several times in Canada. We are still trying. We already have an employee based there, 2 or 3 soon. And more broadly speaking, North America, the Holy Grail being the US. So we will not be an early comer. Nobody's expecting us there. There are already quite a few major players there. But it is a very large market. Maybe with Trump, things are going to change. But Trump tends to be against wind power, and he's not a fan of PV. So our contacts there said that it should continue developing. So we hope we'll be able to achieve something there. And we have a great asset there. Ponty, an Equans company already positioned in the market. They do mechanical and and so they set up sensors or trackers. So they work as subcontractors, and we are trying to work with them for EPC projects. It's difficult because they tend to have the Equans legacy culture where we don't really talk to the neighbor companies, and you add the American layer where they can't even tell where France is in the world. So it's challenging, but clearly we're very excited to do it. And it's too early to talk about other countries, but we have a few ideas in mind. So mostly North America, maybe Latin America. Jérôme really wants us to go there. He talked about it last time, and he said that we need to go to Chile. They've been doing solar power for years. The Spanish are there. There's an Equans subsidiary that's already there. They want us to join them. So we are very, very careful. But since Jérôme is behind us, we'll probably, look at what can happen there. Thank you. What a great dream. We don't have any further questions, so we can wrap up. Unless you have some questions in the room. No further questions. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this live event. We hope that you received some information. We hope that you heard that we had a great performance. Everybody's excited, and let's get back to work. Have a good day.